Class, Ms. Roberts here, and today we're going to review the informative speech assignment. Let's begin. Okay, so I'm just going to do a brief review about the speech assignment. There are two components to this assignment, the actual presentation video and the outline. Excuse me. Now, with the informative speech, it's a little bit different because you get full reign of what topic you want to talk about. Now, when we're thinking about speech topics, I like to start with evaluating what are the subjects I know about. So, what are the subjects I'm familiar with, that I'm passionate about? This can include hobbies, special interests, cultural interests, etc., or topics that I want to learn more about. For example, I enjoy cooking, I enjoy recipes, and I also enjoy cultural cooking. So, for example, when big holidays come like Thanksgiving and the like, I do most of the cooking and I like to cook Southern cuisine. So I'm really good at cooking Southern cuisine and I usually cook Southern cuisine around Thanksgiving time. However, I can make all of the meals and the fixings, but I can't bake the pie. So I know about cooking, but I would like to know how to bake a pumpkin or sweet potato pie. So start off with topics that you know about, topics you want to learn more about. You can also go online and you might see lists of potential informative speech topics. You can also think about current events, news events, historical events, or processes. So think about a process or thing that you do that you're good at that you can talk about in steps. Now, with the informative speech requirement, we have our presentation, and this can be done one of two ways. Now, up until up until now, we have done solo video recordings where you record yourself performing the speech. However, now there is a requirement for you to have at least 3 people be your audience. So this requirement can be done of one of two ways. You can record yourself with your 3 audience members and you perform speech for them. So I need to, of course, with the permission of the people that will be in your video, I just need to see if there are 3 people. They can have their backs turned, doesn't matter, but I do need to see you perform your speech to at least 3 people. Or in the upcoming Zoom, so on this particular page I'm showcasing here, I'll have it the next week, but if you're watching this at a later time or in a different class, make sure to look out for the speech days. So with option 2, I will post the times and the days that I'll be available on Zoom. Note that I may have more than one class that are participating in the Zoom. However, I'll have both roles and I'll take the list and have both roles and just make sure you're getting graded properly. But the goal with option 1 and option 2 is that you will have that audience. So that is a requirement from the department, from the Community College Chancellor's Office. This is a requirement for all of us. So if you decide to use option 2, I'll have a Zoom link and Zoom meeting, and there will be you, me, and any additional people who choose that option, and that will count as your audience. And I will record that video because I will record that Zoom meeting, so that will count as your speech performance. So you can do the asynchronous version where you record yourself, you have at least 3 people watching you speak, and then that will count as you performing in front of an audience. Or you can do the synchronous option where it will be you, me, and a couple of other students possibly watching your speech. Okay? But of course, please let me know if you have any questions. You're also required to use at least one visual aid. Because we're doing this in a video format, the easiest way to do this is having like maybe a picture, maybe you have your tablet, or if you're talking about an object, just bringing the thing and showing the actual object on the video. If you are able to come on Zoom, I can also arrange for you to show a slideshow, but that's with the Zoom option only. But there are several ways to show the visual aid, but one is required for full credit. You can use note cards in your videos, but please be aware that through video presentations, and one of the cornerstones of a video presentation is making that eye contact, making that connection with the audience via eye contact and looking at the camera. Make sure that it's well lit. So I don't know if you can see, but I have my apologies. So if you see on the camera, I have a little ring light right here. But you can use a lamp. So in case you don't want to invest in a ring light, you can use the lamp. You can be in a well-lit room. I don't suggest relying too much on the sun. By the time I usually record these videos in this location, it's usually dark. So the sun is usually setting or it's dark. So just make sure you're in a well-lit room. Make sure you have your microphone or any application, voice amplification device, whether it be your laptop. Check your equipment. So I always do that before I record my videos. I just say, me, me, me. Checking, 1, 2, 3, just to make sure that my audio is working because you don't want to perform a speech with no audio. I have to have that audio. All right. Also remember that the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. So make sure to practice the speech before you perform it in front of your audience or us. It's a little bit different with the previous two videos. Although we did have our requirements, you were by yourself and you dictated how long you were going to speak. Now we have at 5 to 7 minutes. Make sure to adhere to that time. And of course, if you're on Zoom, I will be timing it when we have that synchronous option. But make sure that when you're recording your own video, if that's the video, or if that's the option that you choose, make sure to stay within that time frame to avoid point deductions. Okay. In addition to recording the actual video and providing an outline, you're also required to use at least 3 sources. And this can come from a variety of places. You can use books, newspapers, audio clips, podcasts. You can conduct an interview and interview someone. You can use peer-reviewed academic journals. You can use more than 3, but you have to use at least 3 sources to avoid point deductions. Okay. All right. I do have this on student view because similar to the other assignments, when you start assignments, you record or upload media. So you can either press the button to record yourself, but I do strongly suggest that, say for instance, if you use the option where you do record yourself, pre-record the video and upload the media because I don't want an instance where, say, the internet goes out or something happens in the back end. I don't want you to record the video live and have Canvas not work for you, especially when you do have an additional audience. Now, if you do choose the second option, then I will submit this grade for you because I will have an evaluation sheet. So if you choose to do this synchronously on Zoom, then I will put in the grade and you do not have to record the media. This is just for those of us who decide to record the videos on our own. But of course, let me know if you do have any questions. Before I show you the outline, I do want to show you the speech upload, and then I'll go ahead and show you the outline templates. The template will be found here and within the module. And just as a reminder that is typed. So for instance, sometimes students will handwrite their information and then take a snapshot and upload, and that will not be acceptable. Also make sure it's in a PDA or Word document. I do not accept Google Doc links for submissions. You can also use MLA or APA format within your outline. So let's take a look at the outline format. This is a preview. Let me move myself over a little bit and just zoom it in a little bit. If you notice, we have the introduction, body, and conclusion. Just as a side note, I am migrating towards using Canvas Studio, but if for any reason that Canvas Studio doesn't work and you decide to record the video on your own and you don't have an MP4 file, YouTube can be an additional option. So that's why the link is up there, just in case. But preference, the preference is Canvas Studio, straight recording there, but that could be an alternative option if all else fails. So it's just a backup option just in case something happens with Canvas and we can't submit the video on traditional means. Okay, so we have the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. So there's 4 parts to the introduction. The introduction is the shortest part of the speech. However, there are some important elements to it. So let me go ahead and move myself up here. So first we have the attention getter. So it captures the attention of the audience. This can be a question, quote, fact, or stat. But just note, if you use a quote or a fact or stat, you want to cite that source verbally. You can say according to such and such says, but you want to make sure that you figure out what is the first thing you're going to say. Now, commonly people start out with a hypothetical question or rhetorical question and move on to this part. So with the audience relevance, it enables you to tell your audience why it's important for them to listen to your speech. And keep in mind that not everybody is going to be interested in the topic. So think about how can you connect your subject matter to the audience experience. Next, you have your speaker credibility. So discuss why you're credible to talk about the topic. For example, it can be your experience, your interest, combination of knowledge and research. Then finally, you have your thesis statement and overview. So this is pretty simple, especially in public speaking, because we want to keep our central ideas and thesis statements short and simple. So you can say something to the effect of, today I will talk about A, B, and C. Today I will discuss A, B, and C. What is A, B, and C, you ask? It's the body section. So notice it's essentially a blank slate. You have body section 1, 2, and 3. So in essence, you take the topic that you're going to talk about and break it up into 3 parts. Also notice that there are transitions. So similar to the other speeches, you'll make sure to transition from one point to another. So for example, now that I talked about this, next I will talk about this. So make sure you go from one point to the other. And of course, incorporate your in-text citations. I do have 2 sources that you can use to help put your works cited or reference page together. And an additional source called Purdue, the Purdue Online Writing Lab, that can help put the rules of citing your sources into context. If you want a 4th main point, you can go ahead and do so, but just make sure it follows the letter 1, 2, 3 formats. Then finally, we have the conclusion. So the conclusion has 2 parts, so it's a little bit more simple than the introduction. And in essence, you will be recapping what you talked about and providing a final statement. It's really easy to gain points with this part because you're providing the recap and the closing, but it's really easy to lose points in this part because if you don't provide the recap or a closing statement, then the conclusion is not complete. So pretty much when you do the review, it will be a mirror of the thesis statement central idea. So today I just talked about A, B, and C. In conclusion, I just talked about A, B, and C. So that's the simple part. But you can also, for the final statement, what are some of the takeaways that you can have or that the audience can have from your speech? Or you can use some of the techniques from the attention getter as bookends for the final statement. So, for example, if you begin with a question, you can answer the question at the very end. If you begin with a short story or anecdote, you can include that at the very end. If you started out with a shocking stat, then you can talk about that at the very end. But just make sure to have both elements. So overall, we might be more familiar with this topical format because it's reminiscent of college essay writing. But some of the key differences are this is an outline format. So for instance, when I'm listening to your speech, I need to look at your outline or be able to look at your outline because say if you just put everything in block paragraph format, I won't know which part of the speech you'll be at. So make sure that you have the attention getter, audience relevance, speaker credibility, and take out my instructions and leave in the headings. But of course, if you have any questions about this, let me know. So we have Purdue OWL here. We have the APA guide and MLA guide. So if you go on the MLA guide, you're able to find resources about in-text citations. In-text citations are required for the speech. You can see what that looks like. Say, for instance, you want to put the author within the text or use parenthetical citations. You can do that as well. I'm just going back a little bit for APA. APA is a little bit different. They do have a full APA paper there, just so you can see what that looks like. And then we have basic in-text citations, and you'll notice that it'll look a little different. So for example, you have the name and the year, and it goes into a little bit more detail of the rhymes and reasons but with different citation scenarios. But of course, let me know if you have any questions. Now I also have Noodle Tools. So I used to work at a college that would use or pay for Noodle Tools, the full website. Noodle Tools Express is a citation generator and this is totally free. However, if you go to home, it's right behind me. But if you go to home, that's for pay site. So say for instance, you accidentally go to for pay site. Let's just see. Do not panic. You can go ahead and scroll down. Go to Free Tools, New Tools Express. Boom, you're right there. Now, generators do make it easier for you to create your works cited and reference page. So say if we are on APA side and we want to cite a journal, create citation from a database, you're able to just put in the information that you need and press save. So I need to scoot myself over for this. Once you press save, once you press save, ooh, I need to put myself down. So once you press save, you will be able to get a or create a citation that looks similar to this. So because we do have another form, we can go to APA again. Say if we want to cite a website, create citation. Notice that the boxes change. So you're able to change it to whatever suits your needs. And then you press the button and it shows you what the citation is supposed to look like. So what I like about this website is that not only do we learn how to put the components together, but we figure out what that actually looks like. Now, we do not use Chicago style in this class, but it might be helpful for other classes. Let's see for MLA. Let's look up a book in MLA format. As you see, the boxes have changed. In the MLA guide, you will see that the rules have changed as well. So I like to introduce students to a combination of Purdue OWL and a generator like Noodle Tools. So with Purdue OWL, you're able to see full explanations and what citations, both in text and with the bibliography, the listing of the sources, what that looks like. And then you're able to practice and do this with generators like Noodle Tools. Okay. I look forward to hearing your speeches. This is one of my favorite speeches because you get to talk about what you're interested in, complete and do research, and I get to learn so much from you. Please let me know if you have any questions, in any way I can help. And of course, depending on when you're seeing this, what class you're seeing this for, just look out for the dates for the Zoom meeting. So that will, of course, will vary by semester and term. All right. Thank you so much for your time, and I will see you soon. Alrighty. Bye.